Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are here, please say hello to me. So welcome to the Flourish live show. Today we are going to be talking about how to tune in to heal from anxiety and burnout. So if you are watching live, please comment live below. Let me know that you're here. If you are watching this on the replay, let me know you're watching the replay by just commenting replay in the comments wherever you're seeing this. I am using some new features right now that I have not used before, so hopefully all goes well. But yeah, this is streaming to a few different places, so let me know where you are. Okay, so when I was thinking about this topic at hand, I always like to, anytime I'm like doing a training, I like to just take a second and say, why does this matter? What of value can be provided here with this topic? So let's talk about why this matters. Now, if you've been following me, or if you're new here, welcome. But if you've been following me for a while, you know that the people that I talk to typically report being anxious, being burnt out. A lot of them have chronic illness, symptoms, and things. Gut issues is a huge one for people. They might also report having a lack of confidence or even a lack of clarity with what should I be doing here? What's the right decision? You know, not having that full on just ability to move forward and to feel really good about the direction that they're going. They're lacking in that. They're a little bit lost. So if we look at all of that, those are symptoms. These are all symptoms coming to the surface. A lot of what I said is really just a symptom. And it's letting us know that something is not right. Something is, you know, we're having these little inklings here. Maybe they're small, but maybe they're big. And a lot of times they're really big before we actually start listening. So if you have found yourself in that situation where you're having these symptoms, I think this is going to be a great place for you to start today. I don't think we're going to be here for a super long time on this live stream today. I'm trying to change it up a little bit because I have some really long trainings, like 45-minute trainings. I think that's like my average. So I'm trying to cut that down a little bit. But I think this is going to provide some value to you today. So stick with me if you are here. Okay, so on the opposite side, when someone is on the other side of making some transformation in their life, so they're not suffering with anxiety like they were, they're not burnt out, they have confidence, they have clarity in their life. They might also set some boundaries. They are managing their energy. That's a huge one, especially for my burnt out folks. And they're managing their time as well. So that's pretty far from where they've been. That's for sure a transformation. So my question is, how do we bridge that gap? How do you get from point A to point B? So point A being having all this long list of symptoms to being on the other side of that. So being maybe not all the way healed, but making significant progress. Symptoms are going away, falling off one by one, that sort of thing. And of course, I think that we all continually have some work to do. It's like we're kind of like an onion. So we're constantly, when more things come up, we're working on them as they come up because we have the skills and we find out more as we continue on in our healing journey. So I don't think we're ever I don't think healing is like the destination, the final destination for people. It's we're making improvements. We're transforming in our life. So how do we bridge that gap? So I have an entire program built on the framework to help support people in doing exactly this and making lasting transformation. We're not going to go into that today, what I want to do is break it down into like this micro aspect of it that's foundational for everyone who comes to me, everyone I work with, everyone I've even talked to about this. When we get to the nitty gritty of it, this aspect is like the crux of being able to make the transformation. Do you know what I am talking about? So if you know what I'm talking about, put that in the comments, make your best guess. What could that be? The crux of that healing. I mean, we are talking about tuning in today, so if that gives you anything. All right, so what I am talking about is self-awareness, right? Okay, so self-awareness is always going to be foundational for us in our healing and making transformation. The self-awareness is actually a really big deal. And we can see this in our life, right? We can see this in ourselves, in other people, friends that we've known, people who we have really wished that could change, and they're not, they don't have that same level of self-awareness. So drop a 1 in the comments if you agree that self-awareness is actually incredibly important. I would say that's like the root of actually beginning to change. So usually when people have come to me, they're sharing their story with me, the self-awareness is that they're aware that there's a problem, or they're aware that there's some level of pain. And it doesn't have to just be physical pain. It could actually be emotional pain. It could be, I really wish my life was different. It didn't look like this, and that's really upsetting to me. Whatever it is, usually at the beginning of this process with people is, I am in some type of pain. I have some level of discomfort, and it's great enough that I actually want to do something about it. Because there have been, I'm sure you can tell, there have been plenty of times, I know for me in my life, this is very true, where I may want to change something. It might not be ideal for me, but it's not painful enough for me to actually invest and put in the work required to make an actual transformation with that. So of course, it's like, oh, I wish I could work out 7 days a week and run my marathons, but I'm not disrupted or uncomfortable enough. There's not enough at stake for me to actually want to put in the work. So I want to ask you, what motivates you now to improve? Do you have something that is motivating you to make a change? So I'm just gonna check, and hello. Jason, hi from Chicago. Love to see it, guys. Okay, so what motivates you to make that change or to improve something? That self-awareness is a huge aspect of this, so let's take it a step further. When we have the high level view of, I have this awareness that something's not sitting right for me, a change is needing to be made, something needs to be improved, whatever it is, what comes before that? There is something that comes before this, and most people at the beginning of their journey, they don't know this. They don't understand this. I mean, it's not like they're not believing it once they learn about it, but they don't inherently remember and know that this thing happened to them. They don't have this conscious awareness. The thing that I am talking about that happens, I would say almost in all cases, every case of, I'm aware something needs to change. Before that, we have a physical body sensation. So the physical sensation is what precedes a lot of the other things. I want to give you some examples and let me know, does that ring true for you? Have you seen that in your own life as well? So let's look at anxiety. I want to break down a couple of these things here so you can kind of connect the dots for yourself. But anxiety is always a messenger. For me, that's how I look at it. I've been working with people who have anxiety for a long time. I've been talking to so many people who report this because honestly, it's like everyone I talk to has some level of anxiety, and some people are incredibly uncomfortable and suffering from that. So anxiety is that messenger, and we feel anxiety in our body. That's a real thing. We have this downward spiral, we have things in our mind, the emotional component of it, but there is actually that physical component. Burnout is another one. So this is a big one, and I actually talked to my teacher about this because anxiety is one of those things that it's kind of easy to identify. We are like tuned in that we have some sort of symptom because it's a really big symptom. With burnout, we also have really big symptoms. We know that we have a level of burnout once we get there. We're like, I'm laid out in the bed, I can't get up, I can't do work, that vacation is not going to go ahead and replenish me. A weekend does nothing at this point. Like, that's a very real thing for people. They can identify that, but what component they are missing before they get to that burned out state is that they have either dissociated or, let's say, tuned out all of the physical sensations, those body-wide sensations that have let them know that something is going wrong. Something is not aligned with what they're doing. This could be career or a role. This could just be the level of responsibilities that they have right now. So many different things. For everybody, it's a little bit different, but they all have the signals, and they do one of two things. Either they're not aware of the signal, so they do not have that level of self-awareness, but number two, they may be aware of it, but they don't do anything to change or to accommodate that. This is a big one because I was burnt out probably about 7 or 8 years ago, really bad. Thought I would have to move home with my parents. Actually, I had graduated from engineering school. I moved to California. A year and a half later, it was like I was completely burnt out, and it was a big impact for me because it was an all-day negative experience. And so one of my fears, it was very intense at the time, was that I would have to leave my life that I had created in California, and I would have to live with my parents and have my mom take care of me, because that's the level that I really thought I was at, physically, emotionally, the whole thing. Luckily, that didn't happen. I got the support that I needed. I made some big transformation there. I mean, that's kind of how I got into all of this with helping other people. But I had to go through it first myself. So, okay, to go back, either you're not tuned in, or you may be aware, but you don't make any changes. So for me, in my experience with burnout, I was aware that I was burning the candle at both ends, but I didn't stop. I drank more coffee and I stayed up later, and I tried these different things to just continue on the path that I was already going, and they weren't very supportive, kind, compassionate things. They are not for the long game. I was like, I just need a bandage over this wound right now. I have to keep going. Boundaries is another one. So I included boundaries here because when I work with people around burnout, boundaries is, and really all of mental wellness, there is a component of boundaries. It's really important for all of it. But with boundaries, we have this body sensation that actually, when you start tuning in, you will realize you experience on maybe a daily basis, like moment by moment. It depends where you need the boundary or what the boundary is kind of supporting in your life. I know for me, I do have to have some good boundaries around work, but also around family and family life, household responsibilities, that sort of thing. And there is a physical sensation that is happening when a boundary is crossed or resentment is building or these things are communicating to me. It's really important that we tune in. So I just wanted to highlight that too. Trauma, same thing. Trauma is a body experience. It's not just in the mind, it's not just in a memory, it's actually a physical body sensation, a automatic response. Trauma drives a lot of the anxiety and the burnout symptoms. That is huge, and all of us have experienced some level of trauma. Maybe not the huge traumas, but these smaller little t traumas we have been exposed to. Being authentic is another one. So this is the last one I included here as far as my examples go, because being authentic is a result that a lot of people aim to have when they begin coaching or any sort of personal transformation. They want to be authentic. They want to be aligned with what they are exploring for their what they're doing with their life or how they're showing up in relationships. Being authentic is really important to them, and honestly, that's a huge one for me as well. So I always try to be authentic. That's like one of my guiding principles in life, is for me to be my authentic version of self. And let me tell you, when you are aiming to be authentic, you do get these sensations, these little messengers that pop up and they say, this is not aligned. This is not really what you want. This is not truly how you feel. These sensations happen more often than you think. So there is actually a skill in these body-wide sensations, mastering them, being aware of them, just having this into your consciousness. There's a term for it. It's called interoception. And interoception is really just our ability to tune in and to be able to respond to what's coming up for us. So I want to ask you, when you scan your body, if you're with me right now, take a deep breath, like I'm talking a million miles a minute. Take a deep breath, close your eyes if you want, scan your body from the top of your head all the way down and see, what do you feel? What do you feel in your body? Do you feel a sense of calm? Are different sensations coming up? Do you have some pain? Is your back hurting? I'm standing right now, which is great because I have a stand-up desk, but like sitting at the computer all day, my neck will begin to hurt. Do you have a headache? Are your eyes strained? Are you fatigued? How's your energy level? Are you hungry? Are you thirsty? Do you need something? Are you made aware that something is going on in your physical presence? So what do you feel in your body? Like I said, this is a skill that can absolutely be honed, and we become more aware and more tuned in. At the beginning, I said a lot of people come to me with anxiety and other mental wellness concerns, mental health concerns, maybe diagnoses as well. a whole slew, a laundry list of letters and things that they've been diagnosed with and not feeling their best. So being able to wrap in this level of not only like the macro self-awareness, but the micro self-awareness of actually in this physical body that I'm in right now, in this moment of time, this moment right here, right now, what am I feeling? How am I feeling? And my friends, what I will tell you, this is a huge lesson when I have given my boundaries talk before to other companies, which, by the way, is a free talk that I will give to your company. If you're interested, just reach out about that. But when I give this talk about boundaries, it is such a pivotal moment for people to actually say, yeah, that's right. Before my line gets crossed, I have this feeling that comes up for me. And that's like communicating on, well, where do we need to draw that line? What's important to us? What do we need to prioritize? So this is something that can apply to all different areas of our life. And like I said, it's a skill that we can continue to work on. I have a worksheet for you. So let me pop this in there. You can just go to this URL, tinyurl.com/body worksheet, and you'll get access to my worksheet. And this has some guidance for you on how to begin to tune in and begin listening to those body sensations. So this is a great one. I actually made this because, like I said, a lot of people don't have that level of awareness. They are in many ways disconnected from their body. Burnout is a huge one because we've either missed the signs or we haven't honored our body as the signs have come to us. We haven't done anything about it, or we feel like we can't do anything about it, or we're backed into a corner, so we're not able to honor what we really need. Anyways, so this worksheet is a great one for just beginning to have that relationship with self. So you can download that there. Please let me know how, like what your takeaway is, how this is going for you. I would love to hear if this resonated with you. And if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below and I will certainly get back to you. I hope you have an awesome rest of your Thursday and I will talk to you all later.